Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to the fruit farm, and today we're checking out a track that I've produced, brand new fruit vendor song, and it's been in production for a couple of years now. I'd say about 2 years, and it's quite a special little song because it was written for a good friend of mine, Zoe. Zoe also happens to be a fruit vendor patron on our Patreon channel, and she's also on the highest tier, so being part of the highest tier means she gets a custom song written for her yearly. And this track is quite a unique story about it. It is special in the sense that her dad wrote this song. He actually wrote it as a poem for her when she was 2 years old. And when he passed away, she discovered this poem among his stuff, and she asked me if we can set music to it. And the band was super keen about this idea. Because we'd never done something that before. You'd actually set music to a pre-written lyric that was not my own. So it was also a challenge for me setting music to a song that's not my own. So she gave me the lyrics or the poem, and I wrote some music to it, got the band involved, and we recorded it. And then we played it live for Zoe at one of our secret events, which was backers only. This is when we did Thunder Fund to raise the cash for our first album. And we've kept the conversation going, kept refining the track, kept polishing it. And today, what you're watching is the video diary of this song. So I'm going to talk you through what's actually happening in the song. Because Zoe and I chat a lot over WhatsApp. She sent me a bunch of voice notes just talking about her dad, who was also a musician. So I suppose the song has a double whammy because we're honoring the legacy of a really well-rounded musician. Zoe's dad was a drummer, and he played for years in a whole bunch of rock and jazz bands. And you know, he never really actualized this poem. It never became a song. So it's quite an honor for me to set music to these lyrics. Let me give you a little bit of a breakdown of the instrumentation we used. Of course, there's vocals. I used some of Zoe's voice note recordings. So let's just turn that on. And that comes in the beginning. In the beginning section, there's like these ambient keyboards, the very dreamlike ambient keyboard sound.
It was quite a joy for me to go through decades of work and see how he'd kept every single journal and every single Bible of verse. So he was constantly evolving and constantly looking back and constantly learning from his experiences, which is something I always admired in my father.
So kind of that, it's almost like Brian Eno type of ambient pads with, I'll actually tell you what's happening there. So if I open my keys bus here, I've grouped every instrument category in different buses. And you'll see that there's actually about 5 keyboard style, 5 keyboard sounds patches. We've got handbells, which comes in on the interlude, grand piano, and then I've grouped these ambient keys together. So we've got soft piano, space piano, and space pad, which is what you're hearing in the beginning here.
It was quite a joy for me to go through decades of work and see how he'd kept every single journal and every single Bible of verse. So he was constant.
And then we've got live guitar as well, also grouped into a bus. And this is Adrian Rogowski, our guitarist. You can see he's actually, cool thing about the 80s, he always records a bunch of different guitar parts, all different approaches and techniques, and then I go in and I chop and change among all the different options. So if I play that again,
it was quite a joy for me to go through decades of
this
work and
pick guitar
see how he'd kept
starts
every
fading
single
in.
journal and every single bundle of verse. So he was constantly evolving and constantly looking
There it
back
is.
and constantly learning from his experiences, which is something I have always admired in my father.
Verse 1 comes in the lead vocal. So there's pads and guitars are playing underneath. Lyrics take over. And then in comes Jason on the drums. And comes Rosco on the bass.
But there was one particular set of words that he'd written for me when I was just a little girl. I was 2 years old when he wrote this for me.
Second verse. Ladies just keeping it, you know. The song has a very Afro kind of new wave 80s sound, especially this chorus guitar. The 80 loves this type of patch. I love it too. Full band. Nice thing about this song, which we also never had before, is I asked my good friend Matthew October, talented saxophonist and producer himself, to record tenor sax on the song. So he whipped out this burning solo in the bridge section, because also Zoe's dad never wrote a bridge, or there was no, the lyrics were quite sparse. There wasn't a lot going on. Usually if it was me, I would sort of fill up the bridge with lyrics, you know, even if the lyrics are less verbose as the verse. So I thought, okay, what are we going to do here? Hey, let's try asking Matt if he would, you know, grace the song with his saxophone. I was actually inspired by this Basil Mannenberg saxophone playing on Bright Blues Weeping, which again is like a local song, legendary classic South African new wave pop song, and it features this sort of Cape Jazz style saxophone. Now, even though Matt didn't play Cape Jazz on this, it is, for me, it felt like the song needed that, especially because we are referencing a South African musician, Zoe's dad, who also played in the jazz scene. So, of course, the vocals. So let's play the whole track with the lead vocal. Again, this is not the final version. We still need to have it mastered and need to just refresh the ears a bit. But here we go.
It was quite a joy for me to go through decades of work and see how he'd kept every single journal and every single bundle of verse. So he was constantly evolving and constantly looking back and constantly learning from his experiences, which is something I always admired in my father.
You are a little girl. In your mind there's a little world. You haven't seen how cruel it can be. You haven't felt ecstasy. You live in the daily dream of becoming a queen. I really hope you will. I'll keep hoping until you see me on the sideline. One day you might notice me, hoping to stand by you, hoping you'll love me too. See me on the sideline. One day you might notice me, hoping to stand by you, hoping you'll love me too.
But there was one particular set of words that he'd written for me when I was just a little girl. I was 2 years old when he wrote this for me.
I'll be there to catch you when you fall, when you see what the world is like. Many men will covet your all. I'll be there to catch you when you fall, when you see there's nothing there at all. I'll be there at your beck and call. You see me on the sideline. One day you might notice me, hoping to stand by you, hoping you love me too. See me on the sideline. One day you might notice me, hoping to stand by you, hoping you love me. Do you see me on the sideline? I hope that you notice me, hoping to stand by you, hoping you love me too.
And there you have it. That is the sideline for Zoe. And I hope you enjoyed this little video diary. It was my absolute delight making the song. Can't wait to finish it. Can't wait to release it into the world. If you'd love to be involved in how you can help Fruit Vendor grow, we have a Patreon channel, patreon.com/Fruit Vendor. And that's where all action is going down. It helps us keep going, keep creating new, fresh music and projects. Get involved if it's something you dig. And also if there's a song or something you need produced, just hit the DM. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Share the fruit. Share the journey.